Rockpit. Welcome to Sixx with Sixx. It's a momentous occasion today because not only am I live in a studio with this fine young man, but it's also the maiden episode.
Yes.
So thank you for popping my cherry, Matt.
Congratulations. Cherry popped.
Cherry pop. Couldn't have been by a finer person. So thank you.
Thank you.
So as you can tell, I am with the wonderful Matt from Cicadastone, and we are actually live in his studio in, am I allowed to say Altona?
You can say Altona.
I just did.
Where it is, in Altona.
So we are at ColourSound in Altona. So Matt, to get us started, let's have a little bit of an overview of you, your music history, what you do in Cicadastone, and just a little bit of a feel about the band for anyone uninitiated.
I mean, I've recorded bands for years.
Yep.
A lot of them out of this place. The band started in 2013. Yeah, I think it's 2013.
Someone did their research.
And we've got 3 records out. It's taken always a little longer than we would have hoped, but we have 3 records and an EP. We've survived lockdowns and pandemics. We're just kicking around town like any other band, and just trying to improve and be the best band we can be, I guess.
Well, I don't mind saying it. Cicadastone are one of my absolute favourites, so I jumped at this opportunity. I don't mind fangirling a little bit. That's okay.
That's okay.
One thing I do love about Cicadastone is when you put on one of your CDs, you know who you're listening to. I do genuinely believe you have your own sound. Would you agree with that?
I think so. I think, it's common knowledge, anyone that's followed our journey is, knows we, derive from 90s grunge rock bands, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Soundgarden. It's very much there. We're not hiding that, and we never have. In fact, right at the start, it was the purpose was to be really obvious because that sound hadn't been around so long. And when we first started playing gigs around town, it was like a novelty almost, kind of like a cover band, but isn't a cover band. We just took the essence of all that and put it into this band. Over the course of the records, I think it's refined, and it's like any band, you start to mould into yourself a little more, you know? And I think, this latest record probably is the best example of that. So, yeah.
And I really want to talk about that because you released Future Echoes, I believe, in May, but that wasn't enough for you and Cicadastone. You had to then release an acoustic EP.
Yes.
And I am fascinated about this. Now, as a listener, as a punter, I can't tell which one I like more because there's different things I take out of both.
Yeah.
But my question to you, Matt, is, was it always the intention to have this alternate version of the album out there?
It was an afterthought. And
Really?
It was Tim from the label, from X Music. It was his suggestion. And, for us, it was a natural thing because me and Mark have played many gigs around town just as an acoustic duo over the years. We haven't done it in actually a fair few years now, but there was a moment there for about pre-COVID where we were doing probably more acoustic gigs than band gigs. So when Tim suggested it, was like, yeah, well that's a no-brainer because a lot of these songs are written, they start off on an acoustic guitar anyway. So it was quite easy to just go, cool, well, I'll do this one, and that one, 5 I think there is.
Yep.
And just give them the treatment, Probably the hardest one was "Whisper to My Lonely Self," which is the last track on the album, and it's probably one of the biggest rock tracks on the album. So that was Tim's suggestion, is to do that song, and I was like, I'll give it a go, because I don't really know how to approach that. But you play the riff on an acoustic guitar and you build it from there, and put some percussion in, and I think the real winning moment on this EP is stripping back the vocal. The album has vocal layers and double tracking and harmonies and panning and all this fancy crap to make it sound like a big record. But the EP was about pulling it all out and just going, there's going to be one vocal, that's it, mine, and then it's going to be Mark's vocal, and we're not hiding that. It's going to be what it is, and that's why I think it's really cool, because at times it's a little loose.
Yep.
And I wouldn't let that shit go on a record, But on this, it was like, I think it's good just to keep it as real as possible. There was still some tricks, but ultimately it's pretty raw,
And besides the song that you mentioned that Tim recommended should be on it, how did you choose the other 4 from the album?
I think a couple of them lent very obviously, like This Hurricane and Shadows in an Empty Room, you know, they're acoustic songs anyway, so that made sense.
Yep.
Burn Your Name was probably a single that didn't get a shot to be a single, so that was an opportunity to go, well, let's wrap it up as a single,
right?
And it gets its chance. If there was going to be a fourth single, that would have been it.
Because you've done a video for that, is that right?
Yeah. I mean, well,
there's a video. We need to check it out.
There's a video. I mean, you could call it a video. It's more just me fucking around here doing something to have some sort of visual.
Yeah.
That's another thing Tim's been really pushing, is with all the bands on his label, is, you know, to releases should have visuals of some sort, you know.
Yeah. Whether
it's a full-blown music video or a lyric video, or even under that just a basic visual.
Yeah.
To keep whoever's listening or viewing it more engaged.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I always try and deliver above and beyond. So if he wanted a lyric video, I'd give him a real video. If he wanted a visual, I'd give him a lyric video. You know what I mean? I always wanted to try and do more than was necessary.
Yeah.
And it was fucking hard, because I did a video for every song on the album and every song on the EP.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and you just sit there and go, oh fuck, what am I going to do for this one? And, you know, something would eventuate, and I'd sit there and develop some idea, and, you know, a simple idea can be morphed into a better idea, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of done here. A lot of it's just done around here, you know.
Yeah, you've got a bit of an unfair advantage when it comes to that stuff, haven't you?
Is it unfair? I mean, I think I've worked my ass off, so I think it's fair.
Okay,
you know?
do you know what? That was uncool of me.
No, it's not uncool, but it is unfair in the sense, maybe it's unfair to us, because I find it's really hard to better yourself if you haven't got someone pushing you, you know.
Yeah.
If you're pushing yourself, I can only push myself so much, and each record I think I have bettered myself, but like, I'm getting to a point now where I'm very content with what we've done. It's like, how do I better that now? Yeah, it would be great to get a producer in, like any band around town. Like, we got no money, we can't afford that shit, so we just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's an unfair advantage, but I think to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting, and I feel really bad for saying unfair, but I don't regret it, because it opened up a really interesting perspective.
Yes. You know, ideally, I actually think, you know, I'm really on par with what I want. I know I've got a good vision on each record. Could it have been better with a producer? I guess we'll never know, and probably could have been, you know, or maybe not better, just different.
Yeah.
But I've learned a lot through each record,
yeah.
And I think each record has improved, and in all areas, you know. So I don't regret keeping it in house. But the question is always there to be, what would it have been like, and it would be cool to work with someone else. We just don't have those means. You know? And a lot of bands do that. You know, some bands obviously do work with producers, and they get great results, and all power to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that you mentioned Tim already, because one of the things I really wanted to talk about was X Music. So this is a fairly recent development, as in a this year development, yeah?
Yeah, well, end of last year into this year. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. It's very, very easy. There wasn't any, I mean, we already knew Tim for the last sort of 6-7 years, and he's a great guy. He's always got his finger on the pulse, and he comes from, I think he used to work at Sony, and he's got quite a history in the music industry and in labels. So I already could trust his judgment. Yeah. With who he's working with.
Big thing, isn't it? Big thing. Huge. Trust.
So for us, when the time came to what are we going to do, after leaving our last label? Yep. I was like, well, can we shop this around to labels? Yes, we can. Are we probably going to get anywhere? Probably not. Yeah. But there's this guy I know who used to work at Sony, and he's running his own little label now, and it's growing and it's doing really well. I'll just shoot him a message, and so I shot Tim a message, and he's like, well, do you want to put it out through X Music? I'm like, well, fuck yeah. And he's like, all right, we'll do it.
Let's do it.
That was it.
I feel like this guy's gone through my CD collection of local bands, because some of your label mates, like repping Excalibur today, but you got Carly Jewel, Audio Rain. I think even Wicked Things might be on that label as well, from Sydney.
I think so. Yeah, I don't know them, but yeah, I think I have seen the name somewhere.
Well, I'm grateful, because part of the X Music was you did a gig out my way, out in Seaford. So it was with Excalibur.
Yes.
I think it was Audio Rain as well, wasn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
And Your Fine Self. So I was loving life. It was
Yeah.
like 3 people I love in the one time.
Yeah, they were great gigs. They were a lot of fun.
100%. And
Yeah.
they're just growing as we all
And
are.
Tim was there as well. You know, he flew down from Sydney for those. And,
Awesome.
It was great to see, you know, the label supporting by being there.
Yeah.
And I think we should be trying to do more of those. I think that's the plan. Is next year. That's one thing I've noticed with this label is they're right behind trying to help the bands in all areas, not just servicing a single. You know.
Yeah.
And they're putting their you know putting action where their words are. So.
And I feel like I've caught a few X Music lineup shows already, and
Yeah.
I didn't deliberately go, oh, that's the next music lineup I'm going. I went because bands like you and
Yeah.
Cicadastone are there. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I love that. I'm off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get excited too. For me, as a little punter who just loves seeing the bands, I think it's exciting to see someone coming in who's really promoting.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Awesome. Thank you.
I've got a random question for you.
Sure.
You may have noticed a little man named Dave Grohl has been in the news quite a lot this week, and
He's been a naughty boy.
he's been a naughty boy,
Yeah.
and it's for personal reasons.
It's really no one's business.
I agree with you 100% on that. The only reason why I'm mentioning that is for yourself and the members of your band.
Mm.
Do you ever have to consciously be aware of anything you do that might jeopardise, say, a support gig, a label deal, or sponsorship from any equipment providers?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we've had enough attention on us for that to really affect us as a band, but that stuff is absolutely, you know, it's very real. Like,
Yeah.
our drummer's just gotten a cymbal endorsement. And you know, if he starts playing the wrong cymbals at a gig and makes a big point of it, that might not go down well. But you know, at the end of the day, obligation to reputation, or just human decency to be decent. And you know, like if you're at a gig, treat people good.
Yeah.
In your own life, treat people good. Live your life how you want. I mean, if you want to do things like that, and then live with that, that's up to you, and that's on you. Ultimately, I personally want my band to be represented as good as it can be, and that reflects on me. So you know, I'm not going to go to a gig and shit can anyone, even if I've got a personal opinion on something at the time. It shouldn't come out on a stage, you know.
I like that.
It's about the songs, about the music, it's about the band. That's what it should be about.
100%. I couldn't agree with you more, but just this whole scenario, it's just like, it's no one's business, and I actually personally agree with you.
It is no one's
And
business.
it's just,
yeah.
It's like, you know, Linkin Park have got a new singer. It's like, you know, there's all this Chester talk, and it's like, man, can we just let the music talk? Can we just listen to the music?
Yeah, and you know, you can have that argument. You know, many bands have gone through the singer change. You know, like ultimately, it is up to the band what they want to do. In some cases, it works. In some other cases, maybe they could have renamed the band.
Yeah.
You know, members of, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But you know, ultimately, it's up to those guys. You know, any band that's had a big career and is in the spotlight and needs to change a band member, that's their call.
Yeah.
It's their business. You know, it's actually their business.
Literally
a business that earns them an income. So, you know, whether it's a famous band or a mechanic up the road, you know, if he's going to swap out someone who works for him, like, that's his business.
Yeah.
Or hers. Or hers.
Or theirs.
Or theirs.
Hey, or theirs. Representing everyone here. So, this year, if I recall correctly, and if I've got my facts wrong, you just whip me into shape, Matt. You've already popped my cherry, so you may as well whip me around as well. You've been on the cover of Heavy Magazine.
Yes!
Yay!
That was so cool.
I'm gonna be on the cover.
I think that was our first ever cover on a magazine, I'm pretty sure. That's like, you know, it had a magazine title and everything.
Sure did.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
And you supported Candlebox as well.
We did support Candlebox, yeah.
So why I mention these fine achievements, they're just quick things I've noticed from this year.
Yeah.
For you who's lived and breathed this band since 2013, what would you say has been so far your career highlight or your greatest achievement or your proudest moment?
I think that's easy. That still existing as a band in 2024.
My heart.
That's the achievement. Sticking around. being able to, we've gone through lineup changes, we've put out records. Have we played the gigs we want to play yet? No, we haven't. We haven't achieved that. We haven't gotten out of Victoria enough. It's really hard.
Yeah.
So there's things we want to do, but we're still here, and that is the achievement, And we're still making records, and we're going to be putting out new music next year as well. So it's all still moving along, So that is the achievement.
So if there was one song you would say to someone who wants to introduce themselves to your music, if there was one song on Spotify or all the streaming services, or one clip that you wanted to direct them to, what song would you recommend someone go out and listen to get a feel for the essence that I love of Cicadastone?
I'd say it should be something current.
Yeah.
So anything off the new record, probably I think Last in Line, which was the second single of Future Echoes.
Yes. Yeah.
Was I think that's my favourite song to play in our live set. So I would say, and the video was really cool. So
yeah,
probably that one, and maybe I know you said one, but I'd say Fear Within Our Grasp. It's a much heavier track.
Yeah.
It's a real sludgy track.
Yeah.
I naturally write slow songs. Tim's always kicked my ass about that. So he's always like, you gotta write faster songs. So, but it's a real slow, sludgy song, and I thought, again, the video started from nothing and built into this real dark, cool imagery, and I think those two are good examples of this band.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Last in Line is probably my number one favourite song off the record as well, but I am a fan of Crossfire as well.
Yeah, the Crossfire song, that was the last song I wrote for the record, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was cool. It was just one of those riffs I'd pick up a guitar and do a dicky riff, and that was the riff,
Yeah.
And then one day I've gone, I really should do something with it, and I had it for a couple of years. I really should do something with that riff, and I went, right, today's the day I'm going to do something with that riff, and I sat down and I put it down. I put down some drums, just some demo drums, because I always demo my own drums and stuff.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was like, this is really fucking cool. Isn't
it ace when you can create something yourself and go, I like this?
It was really cool, and I went, I've really got something here. And so I started to piece it together, and I just needed like some sort of bridge to tie the song together. And that whole midsection, which is kind of whack, if you break it down, it's kind of some bizarre timing going on there. And it all just happened in 5 minutes. I just batched it all out and I went, wow, that's fucking cool. So I like the organicness of that song, because it happened really easy. Even the melody, the lyrics, just it was all done in like a day.
Wow.
Easy. Yeah.
Because one thing I think, and I'm sure I wouldn't be the first person to observe this, you are kind of like the thinking person's band. I don't think there's ever anything that's trivial in your lyrics particularly.
No.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, I've touched on some topics of, a lot of it's, personal, my life falling apart shit. But and I've touched on on some topics of government, and it's very light though. I'm not. I'm not some government band. I'm not like doing a Rage Against the Machine or anything like that. But I do in tongue in cheek touch on some points of that and environment. And I don't ever sit there and go, right, time to write a song about this. I just when I jot lyrics down, they start to just go this direction. So then I encourage it, and I'll go. I feel that's where it's heading. So I'll then purposely start to go there. Yeah. But I never sit down and go, we haven't got an environment song, I better write one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's never
more organic.
This band's very organic like that. So yeah.
Are you the only songwriter in the band?
Yes.
As far as lyrics go?
Yeah, and it's funny, it's never been
Sorry, Mark. Sorry, everyone else.
It's never been a conscious decision. Everyone's just busy in their life. And the original concept of this band started with demos I had before the band, and I had some demos, and I just demoed them myself, and we originally got Adam Pedretti in to do the drums for the recording of the album.
Yeah.
And so when that all came together, well, I'd already written these songs, so that was kind of the template moving forward. And there was always talk, we should write some songs. Yeah, that's right. But it just doesn't happen. Everyone's busy, and I get it. We're all busy.
Yeah.
It's not like we're in our 20s anymore, when we've got a job and coming back living at home with mum and dad or whatever.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. So that's just been the progression of this band, is like, I write the songs because I'm the one who stays up till 2 a.m. thinking about that shit, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And if someone brought an idea, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But it's got to be good.
Yeah.
It's got to be good.
Hey, there's a standard, people. Like, we have a standard here, and it is excellent. Get your ears around this.
That one, get around it.
Absolutely. So, if people want to find you and your music, where should they go, Matt?
Just come to the studio. We'll hang out. We'll get a coffee.
Can
I'll
testify.
play them on these speakers.
Can testify. This is a genuine offer. Can personally confirm.
You know, we're a link tree like every other band.
Yeah.
Cicadastone. Google Cicadastone link tree, and you'll find us. You know, Spotify and Apple Music and
Yep. All the usual
Facebook and
suspects.
Insta and all that shit.
I found you through X Music too. I was checking
And
out your
X Music.
website today, which is awesome.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it makes me happy.
Cool, good to know.
So, what's in store in the immediate future for Cicadastone? What do you got going on?
Well,
What's cooking?
depending on when this airs, so that could be edited. I don't know. We've got 2 more gigs for the year.
Yep.
We're playing, which hasn't been announced yet, but it may have been announced by the time this is.
Are we allowed to announce it if this comes out in the next week or
yeah,
so?
of course, yeah. So we've got a gig at the Northcote Social Club November 10th. It's a Sunday.
Ooh, hello.
So we're gonna get in early and so we can get into bed.
What did you say, Matt?
Yeah, I know. With Ion Sky.
Awesome.
And HZ opening for that one.
Amazing. That's a sick lineup right
It'll
there.
be great, yeah. So the 3 bands, Northcote Social Club, November 10, which and that will be, you know, we're doing a poster and stuff for it now.
Yeah.
And then in December we're heading over to Adelaide to play with Audio Rain.
Radelaide!
Which
Do you
is
know
great.
what? Please tell me is it the Woolshed?
No, it's at the, I don't know.
That's fine.
Oh, the Crown and
Crown?
Anchor.
The Crown and Anchor in Adelaide.
On the
Get
6th.
there.
On the 6th.
Of December, did you say?
Friday the 6th, yeah.
So we've got Audio Rain and Cicadastone. Like,
Yeah.
that is a 1-2 knockout lineup right there.
Oh, and the opening band is a band called Hello Enemy. Hello Enemy, I think it is.
Hello, Enemy.
Hello Enemy.
We'll confirm that and
I
come
hope
back
that's
to
what they're
you.
called because I don't want to fuck that up.
But you totally want to get to that.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I am going to go to Adelaide one day. No, just to see bands.
Yeah.
And a draw like that is enough to get me there. I do want to go to the Woolshed because it just looks like such a cool place. But
Well, you should probably go to the Woolshed on the Saturday night then.
Oh, so are you playing on a Friday night?
Yeah, we're playing the Friday night.
Oh, there you go.
And then you can go
Awesome.
Saturday night to the Woolshed.
Well, on that note,
I'll come with you.
Let's do it. Oh, that's something it's hard to say no to.
Yeah, of course.
Like, we just committed. Like, this
Yeah,
is
we're-
on video.
we're going.
This has got to happen now. Do you know what? Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, let's go. I'm happy with it. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, done.
Yeah.
This is happening. I'm excited. That seems like a perfect way to wrap up an interview.
Awesome.
I would just like to absolutely thank you for not only your time today, but your expertise, because pretty much everything you're seeing today is because Matt made it happen.
The symmetry. It's all about symmetry.
Symmetry. So, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode of 6 Weeks 6. This is Nikki. See you later.
This is Matt. See you later.